bonke abazali beni bezadla abazoyikhuluma le ndaba
zokukreza futhi ufahlako ngithina ufahlako la
mamela ba tla ipulaye
Hello everyone, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. This is our recap of episodes 37 to 45 of Youngins Season 2, the finale. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Episode 37 picks up in Ramatuba's office with the fallout of Palesa's revelation that Banele had blackmailed her into sleeping with him. The other boys who were former clients of Palesa were also dragged into the case as parents and police arrived. Palesa defended herself, suggesting that if she is guilty, her former clients should also be punished. Ramatuba was determined to get rid of Palesa, but the social worker cautioned him that the case could escalate and it may be better off for the school if the incident was dismissed. Ramatuba decided to dismiss the case and handle it internally. However, Palesa was not satisfied with Banele being let off the hook, and despite her mother's reluctance to pursue the matter, Palesa decided she will follow through regardless. Meanwhile, in the boys' dorms, Tumelo went on a drug binge and seemed like he was having fun until he collapsed after feeling pain in his chest. Mahlatsa returned to their room, where he found the drugged-out Tumelo laid out on the floor, seemingly overdosing. Mahlatsa scrambled for help, calling the rest of the Big Five to their room as they tried to help their friend without getting him in trouble. Mahlatsa tried to perform CPR, but the episode ends with panic ensuing after Tumelo had a seizure and started foaming from the mouth. Episode 38 picks up following Tumelo's seizure, with his friends convinced that they've lost him. Tumelo suddenly woke up to the relief of his concerned friends. However, Mahlatsa was still concerned about Tumelo's addiction as he met up with Amo and the rest of the Big Five to discuss how they could help their friend get clean. Kaya returned to his room and informed Sefako about Tumelo's addiction, revealing how close they came to losing him. Meanwhile, in Ramatuba's office, the principal and Palesa's mother tried to convince Palesa to change her mind and drop the case against Banele, but she was determined to see him punished for what he did to her. Banele made a last-ditch appeal to Palesa, begging her to forgive him, but she promptly rejected it. Palesa's former clients confronted Palesa for getting Banele arrested, but Tepo, Alex, and the rest of the students had her back as the police arrived to take Banele away. Back at the boys' dorms, Tumelo apologized to Mahlatsa, who felt that he owed Tumelo an apology for neglecting him and not noticing the signs of his best friend's addiction sooner. The episode ends with Mahlatsa promising Tumelo that he will do his best to support him. Episode 39 picks up with Mahlatsa catering to Tumelo before attending class. As soon as Mahlatsa left, Tumelo texted Mazambani trying to get a fix before bumping into Sefako, who confronted him about his drug use. When Mahlatsa returned to their room, he found that Tumelo wasn't there. He called up Sefako and the two interrupted Tumelo while he was begging Mazambani for a fix. The Big Five then confronted Tumelo during an impromptu intervention. Tumelo was defensive at first, but softened up as his friends pledged their love and support to him. Sefako also approached Tumelo to offer his support as the former couple buried the hatchet. The episode ends with a shock for members of the Big Five as they cross paths with Lesedi, who is back in school after being released from jail. Episode 40 picks up with the Big Five and the entire school panicking over Lesedi's return. Lesedi then confronted Amo, revealing that he was set free because the paraffin found in his bag was not the cause of the fire, which he claimed was an electrical fault that started in Tumelo and Mahlatsa's room. However, Lesedi suspected there was more to the story as he grilled Amo over the Big Five's potential involvement in Olifant's fire. Amo immediately met up with the rest of the Big Five to discuss Lesedi's accusations. They asked Kaya what he did with the stove, but he insisted that it was well hidden. Unbeknown to them, Lesedi was eavesdropping on the group's meeting. He went to Sefako, requesting to use his grade 10 notes to catch up on his schoolwork, but after getting the notes, he returned to the room that Sefako shares with Kaya and searched it. Meanwhile, Mahlatsa was determined to confess and turn himself in. Tumelo tried to stop him, but he had made up his mind as he packed his bags and made his way to the principal's office. The episode ends as the friends each receive a text from Lesedi, revealing that he found the stove that Kaya was hiding. Episode 41 picks up with the Big Five freaking out after Lesedi found the stove that started the Olifant's fire. Butle calmed the group down, insisting that they should ignore Lesedi's threats. However, Lesedi applied pressure on the group, accusing Amo of framing him before Kaya and Matlata arrived to defend her. Lesedi continued trolling the group as he teased Amo in class, threatening to expose them if they don't do his bidding. During break, Lesedi approached the group with his demands, ordering them to steal an upcoming geography test paper for him. The group was reluctant to help Lesedi, with Butle insisting that he didn't have enough evidence to pin the fire on them. However, her tone changed when they crossed paths with Detective Tumelo on school premises, immediately texting the rest of the group that they have no choice but to do what Lesedi wants. Meanwhile, Kaya began to show shades of jealousy as Matlata and Amo got closer, causing tension between the boys. Lesedi then met up with the Big Five once more, threatening to report them to Detective Kumar. The episode ends with the group agreeing to steal the test paper for Lesedi. Episode 42 picks up with the Big Five trying to find a way to get their hands on a test paper for Lesedi. Ramatuba caught Kaya and Matlata unsuccessfully trying to pick the lock to his office and questioned what they were up to. Matlata was able to think fast, claiming that he wanted the latest bursary application forms. Ramatuba told Matlata to come back for them later before dismissing the boys. The Big Five regrouped, and despite Amo's concern, Matlata volunteered to steal the test paper. He returned to Ramatuba's office where the principal handed him the bursary application forms. Then, his opportunity came when Ramatuba stepped outside of the office. Matlata quickly searched for the test paper, took pictures of it, and put it back before Ramatuba returned to the office. Matlata and the Big Five then presented Lesedi with the pictures of the test paper, but he was not satisfied, ordering Matlata to write down the answers for him before the test begins. With the help of Amo, Matlata was able to complete Lesedi's cheat sheet before the grade 10 sat down for the geography test. After the test, a confident Lesedi proclaimed that he will pass with high marks, but the episode ends with his cheat sheet falling at the teacher's feet as she questioned where he got it.
Kanti nizokwenza-ke lokho Shila Khonka. Otherwise mangakwenzi ekuzonuka kungabulanga.
Mahlathi, siyanthoka ufana uladela.
No. Detective uthile guys.
Ngiyachaka yini? Ikinye.
Episode 43 picks up as a teacher confronted Lesedi after she caught him cheating in class. She deduced that someone must have helped Lesedi cheat, and just as she was about to send him to the principal's office, Amo took the blame, admitting that she was the one who helped Lesedi cheat on the test. The two were taken to Ramatuba's office, where Lesedi encouraged Amo to lie for him and make sure he doesn't get into any trouble, or else he would expose the group. Ramatuba was disappointed with Amo. However, Amo put on an Oscar-worthy performance, explaining to Ramatuba that she only helped Lesedi cheat because she felt bad for him, even begging the principal not to expel Lesedi. Meanwhile, the rest of the Big Five were worried about Amo, with Kaya blaming Matlata for their failed plan. Matlata started feeling guilty for letting Amo take the fall alone, and for how he treated her in the past, even admitting to Tumelo that he wanted her back. Tumelo encouraged his best friend to approach Amo and tell her how he feels before Kaya wins her over for good. To the relief of the rest of the group, Amo returned from the principal's office, revealing that she had been given a warning and ordered to clean the dining hall as punishment. However, the friends agreed that they must stand up for themselves and fight back against Lesedi's threats. The friends helped Amo clean up the dining hall, where she admitted to Tumelo that she felt bad for framing Lesedi, but Tumelo insisted that she had nothing to feel bad about because Lesedi was a bully and the school was better without him. Ramatuba then confronted Lesedi in the school corridor in front of everyone, shouting at him for messing with Amo and her friends. However, Lesedi was not happy with being humiliated by the principal in front of the other students and returned to the Big Five with another demand. The episode ends with Lesedi ordering the five friends to burn down Principal Ramatuba's car. Episode 44 picks up with the Big Five panicking as they argued over Lesedi's latest demand to burn down Ramatuba's car. Matlata was against the idea of incriminating themselves any more than they already had, and Amo agreed with them. Matlata was determined to get back with Amo. However, a concerned Kaya pulled Amo aside to check if she was still interested and reminded her that he was still waiting on her, like she asked. Meanwhile, Tumelo and Matlata bumped into Detective Kumalo, who revealed that they were once again the focus of the investigation into the fire. He once again questioned the two friends about their involvement and the cause of the fire. The two friends managed to slip away from the detective's interrogation, but they were spooked, and upon meeting up with the rest of the group, they decided that they had no choice but to give in to Lesedi's demands. the Big Five got their hands on some Molotov cocktails, also known as petrol bombs, and met up that night, prepared to do Lesedi's bidding. However, Amo planted a seed of doubt in the group as they all got cold feet, except for Kaya, who was determined to follow through despite their reservations. The episode ends with Kaya throwing the Molotov cocktail at Ramatuba's car as the friends quickly fled the scene. Episode 45 picks up in the aftermath of the Big Five's attempt to burn down Ramatuba's car. The students gathered at the scene where Kaya narrowly missed Ramatuba's car with a Molotov cocktail, questioning what had happened. Lesedi immediately confronted the Big Five, threatening to expose them. However, led by Buhle, the friends stood up to him, revealing that they also had dirt on him and were ready to bring him down with them. A frustrated Lesedi stormed off, leaving the Big Five to celebrate their victory. Amo, Kaya, and Mahlata resumed their love triangle, with both guys feeling optimistic about their chances with her. Tumelo then questioned Amo about who she was going to choose, and without revealing who, she teased that she may have made her choice. Amo then gave Mahlata a call, where the former lovebirds set up a meeting, but unfortunately, Detective Kumalo arrived in Mahlata's room soon after, ordering him to follow him to the office, while an unsuspecting Tumelo was also summoned to the principal's office. Meanwhile, Kaya met up with Amo, where he tried to win her over. However, Tepo interrupted the couple, revealing that the detective had dragged Mahlata to the principal's office, where an interrogation was underway. Detective Kumalo questioned Tumelo and Mahlata about the fire once again, even bringing out Mahlata's burnt stove which caused the fire. The boys resisted, but after more grilling from the detective, Mahlata cracked and admitted that the stove was his, confessing to the shocked detective that he accidentally started the fire that killed TK. Detective Kumalo immediately put Mahlata under arrest as Tumelo frantically tried to stop him. The detective escorted a weeping Mahlata down the corridor as his schoolmates watched on. Tumelo pleaded with the detective, insisting the stove was his, as Amo, Buhle, and Kaya arrived during the commotion. Upon seeing Mahlata in handcuffs, the rest of the friends revealed that they were also in the room on the day of the fire, and the episode ends with the detective loading the friends into the police car in front of the shocked students, and Lesedi, who celebrated the Big Five's arrest. What a heartbreaking ending to the season. I didn't really like the build up to the finale. Everything after Lesedi's return felt a bit rushed, but what a cliffhanger they've left us on. The finale has everyone wondering how and if the Big Five can make a comeback from this. So in case you are wondering if we're getting a third season, I think that's a given. They also left us hanging with Amo's decision, so that's another loose end that needs to be addressed in season 3. However, it did seem like she was going to choose Mahlate before everything went down. Whether or not her decision will change when she finds out that Mahlate hooked up with Buhle remains to be seen. Unlike the first season, which didn't really end on a cliffhanger, the show was deliberate in making sure this season ended with a lot of unanswered questions. However, it was still a refreshing season that gave the supporting cast a lot to do. At first, I didn't like Ramatuba as principal, but I must say, he grew into the role, and the actor gave a very strong performance. Tepo, Sefako, Palesa, Mazambani, and Alex all impressed me, and I hope their characters will continue to be fleshed out in the third season. Lesedi is a great villain, however, I do feel his storyline was undermined by Banele's villain arc, which had more seriousness and relevance to me. There was more of a moral to that storyline. It was an interesting choice for the show to split the season between the two villains, whereas season 1 had our protagonist, the Big Five, up against one villain, Principal Mtembu. This season, the show definitely gave more high school vibes with the drama that was unfolding. From the prize giving to the talent show, there were a lot of high school moments which the show captured perfectly. I apologize for taking so long with this final recap. I know some of you were looking forward to it, but I had some technical difficulties which prevented me from reviewing the finale with you. And I've had my hands full at work recently, so I'm sorry for the delay. Big up to everyone involved with Youngins Season 2. It's been a pleasure reviewing this show with you all. We'll be back next season with more reviews. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ASR for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.